we are going to start with our Decorated Pines card. Now, this is my class to go for the month of October 2022, and I'm using, of course, the Decorated with Happiness stamp set and the Decorated Pines dies. They are sold as a bundle, and you can add the bundle to your class if you so desire, if you don't have it. In your class kit, you're going to get some soft succulent ribbon, some gold and vanilla ribbon, a few of these adorable little jingle bell trinkets, and a half a pack of the festive pearls, and then you get a half a pack, oh, excuse me, there was something in my throat, of the Lights Aglow designer series paper, some gold foil, and then some of the glimmer specialty paper. So there you go. All right, so we're going to be using these things on the card today. Oh, you also get one of our gift boxes. So in my classes to go, the classes make 8 cards. There's 2 each of 4 different designs. And so I thought if you wanted to, you could make the 8 cards and you could gift 4 of them to a friend. So you could decorate the box with some of the, papers and whatnot that comes in your kit, and that would make a cute little present. All right, so here are my pieces and parts. Oh, I'm also using the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder in the class, not on the card today, but on some of the other cards. And you can, of course, add that to your class kit as well. All right, so we are going to use some cherry cobbler, 5.5 by 8.5, an inside layer 4 by 5 1/4, an outside layer of cherry cobbler 4 by 5 1/4. I've got a little piece of vanilla here that is 3.5 by, or no, this is 4 by 5 1/4. Is that what I said? Yeah, this is 3.5 by 4. And then I have 2 pieces of the designer series paper, and they should both measure about 1 inch by 4. Here they are. And then I have some strips of gold foil. It doesn't really matter how wide they are. They can be different like these are, because you're just going to need a tiny bit that's going to show. So you don't need to have anything special there. And then I have a strip of the designer series paper to go on the inside, and this is 3/4 by 4. So I guess I'll go ahead and adhere this. And for those of you guys that were watching me on Stamp Happy Academy Monday, and I had a seal refill out ready to go because I thought that I was going to run out, and it inadvertently fell on the floor and kind of broke apart, and everything, like the whole rolls and everything fell out. So I was able to fix that. So if you guys were wondering, I do have it sitting right here. I put it all back together. It's ready to go. That's going to go on the inside. All right, so this is kind of like tinsel, so I want these to be going the same direction on the card. I don't want one to be upside down. So I'm going to actually place them in front of me like this so I can keep track. And so one of the gold strips is going to go at the bottom. So the top piece, it's going to go at the bottom, and then the bottom piece, it's going to go at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to do seal. So I'm going to add some seal to the top back of this piece. And then I'm going to put it on the bottom back of this piece. Okay. And so then you just want a little bit of the gold foil to show. So that's about 1/8 of an inch, I guess. Maybe a little less. Doesn't have to be exact, just as long as they're fairly similar, about the same on each piece. So we're looking here again. Close. Okay. We're going to add this layer to the center of our cherry cobbler layer. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because your strips are going to cover this up. If if it's not perfectly straight, that's okay. And I think I'm going to use liquid glue to add these to the card just because sometimes it's a little faster. Okay, so this one needs to go at the top. And as you can see, some of my pieces are a bit long, and so we're just going to snip those off. And then we're going to add this piece to the bottom. And again, this is one of the cards that is in the kit that you will be making. So you will get the supplies to make 2 of these cards. Okay, so that's going to be our layer. So we're going to set that aside along with our inside layer. And then we have a scrap of vanilla here. And I'm going to pull some of the stamps out. Let's see, that goes on the inside, that goes on the outside, that's on the outside, and this is going to be on the outside as well. So we've got the pine bough here, and I'm going to open up my Evening Evergreen ink, and I'm going to stamp one of these. And I don't have to have the entire stem, so if you don't get the entire stem, it's fine. I'm going to stamp this on my scrap of vanilla here. There we go. And then I also have some soft succulent. And I have the little filler piece here. So I'm going to fill this in with the filler piece. And what I kind of try to do with this is I kind of try to line it up at the base of each pine bough. So I've got the kind of the base right here on the stem, that one is on the stem, and then that one. And that's kind of how I've been lining them up. And it's not meant to be completely perfect, but it's close enough. So then I would, of course, take this coordinating die, and I would take it over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I would cut it out, which of course I have already done. Because you know me, I already do all these things ahead of time. So here is that piece cut out. I also took the detailed pine bough out of the set, and I die cut a piece of the Evening Evergreen glimmer paper. And you can see I didn't get the whole stem or the whole branch, I guess. I don't need that. So I did not take the time or, waste the glimmer paper getting that branch on there because I don't need it. So I've got these two pieces. Then I die cut one of the detailed bells out of cherry cobbler. So we'll set, ooh, look at that. I dumped that right in the ink, but that's fine. It'll dry. And then those are all the die cuts that I need, but I did decide that I wanted to have the pine bough coming in from the top of this layer. So I am going to get a scratch paper, and I like to use these little mini grid papers. They were kind of designed for the Stamparatus, but obviously you can use them for anything. And so I like to use them because they have grids on them, which is very helpful. And so I'm just going to have this. I don't want to have it take up all the room, but I did want to have it come in just a little bit. So let's try that. There we go. And then we'll bring in the overlay piece. And we'll get that, I think, like that. And so that's going to be our inside layer. So I do need to keep, what ink do I need? I need the Evening Evergreen. So I'm going to close up the succulent here. And so for the outside, my plan is to have these kind of come in from the side of this layer. And I'm going to cut that off so you can see where I don't need the whole stem or the whole branch off of the glimmer paper, because you're not going to be able to see it anyway. So I'm going to have both of these coming in like this. And I wanted the glimmer paper to be seen because it's so beautiful. Then I want the bell to kind of hang from the bow. And then there are some of these little stamps in the set that they're not perfect again, but you can add color like behind these die cuts. So I'm going to do that with some cherry cobbler. So I'm just going to kind of guess where I want my bell to be. And you know what? Actually, maybe I'll go ahead and glue these pieces down. Oh, there's my other little guy. There's also a single die in here that will cut just a little tiny pine bough, and I do have one of those also. That's funny. I was wondering while I was sitting here pulling everything out, I thought, where is that? Now I know. So I'm going to add some glue just behind here to these different branches. And I'm just sort of kind of going willy-nilly here. I'm not really caring that much. I'm going to bring my silicone mat in, because sometimes I get a little carried away with the glue. And if I stick it onto a silicone mat, look at all that excess glue that I don't need, that I was able to get off. Okay, so then we're going to add this to the card. There we go. And then we're going to add our pine bough that we stamped also, but we're going to kind of offset that a little bit so that it's not completely, so it's going to kind of cover up some of that, but not completely cover it up. And so we'll just add some glue to this. And we'll kind of come out with the stem here, or the branch. I keep calling it a stem. It's probably a branch. I feel like these things are branches. And then come up here and get it pretty close to our glitter piece. And then this little guy, I'm just going to have come tuck underneath right here, just because I wanted a little bit extra greenery there. Okay. And more glimmer, because you could never go wrong with a lot of glimmer. All right. So then our bell is going to kind of hang down like from the pine bough. And I'm going to ink up this little design that I'm going to have go behind the bell. Whoops, I'm going to flip it upside down. And I'm just going to I'm going to stamp it off once. And then I'm just going to do you see how I did that? I had my bell sitting right here. I just kind of put my stamp right over where it was, scooched my bell out of the way, and then just stamped. And that way, that's going to be behind my bell where I want it to be. Now, I also kind of thought, since I have these little jingle bells included in the class, that it might be kind of fun to have a jingle bell be like the bell ringer. And so we're going to add the bell here to the card. So let me go ahead and add a little bit of glue. Now, if you guys use our adhesive sheets, if you're not super proficient with this liquid glue, which not everyone is, I totally get that. You can die cut all these detailed pieces with our adhesive sheets. And then it's a lot easier to glue these things down if you have the adhesive sheet, because you can just pull the backing off and there you go. All right, so we have a little jingle bell here, and I'm going to get a glue dot, and I'm going to add a glue dot to the back of my jingle bell, and then I'm just going to lift up what I just glued down, because I didn't put too much glue under there, and then I'm going to add this. So I'm going to try to scooch it so that it's just right. Oh my gosh, what in the heck? I have ink on my hand. Urgh! How did that even happen? Well, I got it. So, of course, we have ink on our card now. We're going to pretend it's not there. We're going to let it dry, and then we're going to bring in our ink eraser, and we're going to try to get it off. So, let's just be calm for the moment. If I can be calm about it, which I don't know if I can. That really makes me mad that happened. Okay, so then I'm going to stamp my Be Jolly image sentiment over here, but I had a little piece of glue, so I'm going to leave that. We're going to get that off, but I want to make sure it's dry so that I don't end up smearing it more, because that would really send me over the edge. Okay, so we're going to stamp our Boughs of Jolly right here. There we go. And we're going to add this to the front of the card, and you can do it with dimensionals. Look what I did. I wanted to get rid of one of my dimensional sheets, so I just totally picked all these pieces off and stuck them on this other sheet that I found that was kind of already used a little bit. Does that really irk anyone else when that happens, when you get some ink on something? Ugh. Yowza. All right. Anyway, it's not going to take away from our beautiful card, because our card is still beautiful, even though we have a little ink spot on it. It's still a beautiful card, and we're going to get the ink spot hopefully off. If we can't, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may have to just cut this apart and redo it. I won't do it now because that would be boring, but I might have to. Okay, so we'll get that to the inside, which isn't that fun on the inside? Yes. Okay, and then finally, the last thing I want to do before I try to get that ink off is I do have some of the gold ribbon that's included in the kit. This is very beautiful ribbon. I would tie a little bow, so I make 2 little bunny ears and I cross them, and then I bring the loop through, and then we just make a little bow, and we just kind of manipulate it until the loops and the ends are the way we want it, and then we go with it. So I've got one that I already have done, and I'm going to put this at the top of the bell. I'm going to cut, whoops, that. There we go. All right, and we've got a glue dot here. We're going to press that, And then we're going to add our bow. We've got a lot going on this card. It's just so pretty, except for the ink smudge. Okay, you guys, I'm going to, here we go. I'm going to try to get some of it off. I don't know if I'll be able to get all of it, but if I can get some of it, that'll make me happy. Blow off the excess from the eraser. Ooh. Yeah, I think it's going to come off. Yay! Now, if you're wondering what this is an ink eraser. It's called a sand eraser, and it works really well for getting rid of ink boo-boos. Now, it's not going to, like, if I stamped this wrong, it's not going to get rid of that. You know what I'm saying? But because I have a little bit of error here, this is definitely taking a lot of that away. Okay, look at that. You can I can't, there's a tiny little bit right there, but no one is going to notice that. Oh, yay. That makes me happy. All right, so we have the outside, we have the inside. Beautiful, beautiful. And then the last thing I want to do is add a few of these fun little pearls. These are the Sage Shadow. Oh my gosh, Sage Shadow. That's a color we had like 100 years ago. Soft Succulent is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm just going to add a few of these little pearls, kind of just, you know, randomly here and there, just because. There. All right. A lot going on that card, but it's so pretty. And I just love the glimmer paper. Using that to cut out the pine boughs is just awesome.